City. Thanks for being with us as we commence the first discussion segment this breakfast show, the matters of the moment. Local government autonomy is actually the matter of the moment. It's not an good thing. It's Nigeria over. That's the topic of discussion for today. We're going to look at the realities and the viability. Our guest is already seated in the studio, Dr. Walter O. Jefferson, Assistant State Secretary, APC, Enugu State. Doc, good morning, and thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Narrator. Thank you.
My name is Ngozika Mba, and Chioma is right here with me to have this discussion.
My name is Chioma Galana. You're welcome to the program.
Okay, taking off right away. Matters of the moment on ASBS Sunrise FM 96.1, the midweek edition. We've just been joined by Barrister Daniel Chukunonso Owe, a legal practitioner and a politician of the AD party. Thanks for joining us, Barrister.
It's my pleasure. Even though
It's AD.
Action
AA, Action Alliance. Sorry, pardon my error. Okay, let's get on with the conversation already. Local government autonomy still and the front burner in the country. The Nigerian local government system has passed through several stages in its development, beginning as autonomous entities, and then over time we began to see the privileges and the authorities being removed from them, arguably by the state governors. And in the recent time, we saw the federal government take up the matter and sued, that there be absolute autonomy. Because once financial autonomy is granted, it will, to a large extent, translate to absolute autonomy. And that was it. That is where we are, actually. We have seen some states, local governments, pulling out of Algon so as not to be bound by the judgment of the Supreme Court. And we also seen that some states are already, though some states like Enugu already had plans to have their elections, but there are other states that looked like they woke up from its slumber. Anambra State, Kwara State are going to have theirs even before Enugu State that already had plans in motion. And so we are going to look at the realities of this Supreme Court judgment and the viability. Is it really possible for local government to enjoy absolute autonomy with a structure on ground? I'm starting off with you, Barrister CDO.
Okay, actually, if you take a look at Section 7 of the Nigerian Constitution, it provides that the local government tier of government shall be administered in accordance with democratic norms. So the recent judgment delivered by the Supreme Court of Nigeria basically was an attempt made to give life to the provisions of Section 7 of the Nigerian Constitution. Theoretically, the local government tier of government is deemed to be an independent tier of government, in as much as the same Nigerian Constitution, to a great extent, conferred the House of Assembly of a state with the powers to make laws to regulate the affairs of the local government, of the local government tier of government in a particular state, in a given state. Be that as it may, we also know as a fact that the legislative arm of the local government tier of government is made up of councillors of the various local government councils. Having said that, the point there is that it is unfortunate that many of us, or better still, most of us, are here to appreciate the operational ambit of this tier of government, because it is the tier of government that brings governance closer to the grassroots. In other words, if you talk about the federal and state tiers of government, the leaders are these two tiers of government, to a great extent, are detached from the people. Whereas in case of local government tier of government, it is that tier of government wherein the representatives, or better say the leaders of this tier of government, are well known by the populace. For instance, councillors. Councillors emerge from their respective wards, in which case the councillor of your ward may even be your close door neighbor, and he is expected to also operate from that terrain. In other words, if you are encountering any challenge governance-wise, the law envisages that you easily approach your councillor to let him know that, look at the challenges I am encountering as far as governance is concerned, that the roads in our environment is not in a good state, are not in a good state, that we don't have pipe-borne water and all whatnot, in which case the councillor will now take your complaint to the local government chairman. Because if you look at the fourth schedule to the Nigerian Constitution, that fourth schedule laid down the duties expected of the local government to carry out. Because many of us also fail to appreciate, especially during the electioneering period, you find out that many candidates who are vying for political offices in the local government, tier of government, they do make reckless promises. Now that the elections are around the corner, you may find a situation whereby you see a local government chairman or candidate telling you that you do something. No, the duties of a local government leader, these duties are circumscribed within the ambit of the first schedule of the Nigerian Constitution, in as much as the same Nigerian Constitution has also empowered the House of Assembly of a state to confer the local government tier of government with additional powers. In other words, the House of Assembly of Enugu State can, by way of lawmaking, empower the local government tier of government to carry out additional functions that are in addendum to the ones already expressly stated in the first schedule to the Nigerian Constitution. So what am I trying to say? This tier of government ordinarily should be that will help see to it that the people have a direct connection with the powers that be. But this part, unfortunately, we are here to harness the have been benefits that should have accrued from having this tier of government in place.
All right, Dr. Walter Jefferson, can you also run us through your own thoughts on the local government operations in Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you very much. And our listeners out there. Actually, my colleague here have extracted the legal positions and the constitutional base of local government and as it has to do with the act. I want to say that local government autonomy is the best thing that has happened to this country. Because before now, you can see that there is no development coming or going down to the grassroots. Because local government system is a kind of being caged by the state governors. Their finances, they cannot lay hand, they are being given token to run with. In as much as the allocation made for them is in the state purse. And they now manage it and give them the one they want to give to them. But the best thing that happened to us is this. In fact, I want to applaud the present government, the president, who has deemed it wise to go through the Supreme Court. Because before now, the bill has been on and on and on. Each time it came up, they will send it down to the states so that the House of Assemblies will now okay it. But you see that few of them will accept it, the others will reject it because of their own plan of reaping from that local government allocation. And reaping from that local government allocation is one of the things that we look forward to, that is causing the crisis that is in the country now, because the local government, the governors are not happy. They're not happy.
Yes,
Okay, Dr. Walter, now that you spoke about the obligations, the duties,
Yeah.
same as Barrister Ogwe, the duties of the local government.
The local government, he has to
Yes.
say that. I
And
don't
now-
have to repeat it.
Yes, and now you talked about the financial aspect. Now that they have been granted autonomy,
Yeah.
the governors, like you pointed out, seem not to be happy.
Yeah.
But why is it that some of them are actually rejecting this autonomy? Why so? Because one would think that the moment that is done, they will be so happy because this time around you will be, independent enough to develop your local government
Of course.
exactly the way you wanted to. So why do you think some of them are pulling out? And from the look of things, more might even join them if they are allowed to pull out.
Do they have choice? Pulling out of agon does not make reason. Because this is Supreme Court judgment and is the highest. There's no way they can pull out and say they will not manage their fund. And when the direct allocation is given to them, they're answerable. They are answerable to account for those funds given to them. If there is no development in my own local government, for instance, I'll hold the local government chairman.
It doesn't matter what interference he experienced. His experience, you will hold him accountable.
Of course, what interference is he experiencing? What? He's been, the money, the federal government, the judgment says that money will no longer be paid into state accounts. And that is the reason why some of the states that have not conducted local government autonomy, by last July, they were denied allocation.
Election, rather.
That have not conducted a local government election. That has no local government, chairmen and councillors. You know, so they were denied allocation. Reason is that if that allocation is still given to them, they will manage it in their own way, because they use local government allocation to substitute their own allocation. They now cut from it, give them the money, the much they like, and having given them the much they like, they will now manage the rest, which has been affecting the local government development since the years. So you see, like I said, the present administration, who have deemed it right to do this, has done the best thing for the country. That is why when this protest is about to gear up, we are saying, if somebody can give us local government autonomy, I mean, who else? Which other past leaders could not achieve by trying to pass it through the law, through the process, the right process.
Oh.
So, but
okay.
he went out of his way to do it.
Before you begin to eulogize your party man, let Barrister Ogbe.
I don't talk about party now. I only said administration. I didn't mention APC or anything. I talk about the administration.
Before you start singing the praises, let Barrister Ogbe tell us the legal implication of trying to pull out of the ALGON as a body and not keying into the Supreme Court's judgment. You know, 33 local governments from Oyo State already said they do not want to be a part of that. They are not interested in having financial autonomy. Yes. Barrister, well, I'm sure you're aware of this.
The point is that, to the best of my knowledge, ALGON is not a creation of the Nigerian Constitution. ALGON was created pursuant to the rights to freedom of association. Having said that, secondly, even if ALGON is an institution or a body created by the Nigerian Constitution, the judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria is final.
Spirit.
And once such judgment is delivered, you cannot, by any stretch of imagination, try to violate, or better still, to ignore that particular judgment, because that will be met with dire consequences. So, having said that, the judgment has been delivered, and you can only appeal to God Almighty. And interestingly, even if you appeal to God, God will still affirm the judgment, because that judgment resonates with common sense. That judgment has given, in fact, that judgment depicts the highest echelon of judicial activism. Because in the true sense of it, we should appreciate something. If you take a look at the Nigerian Constitution, various sections, relevant sections, you appreciate the fact that, ideally, when funds are remitted from the Federation account, those funds are not to be utilized by the various local government councils. They are to be utilized pursuant to the laws made by the House of Assembly of a state. But because of the activities of most governors in time past, wherein they kept meddling unlawfully with the allocation that comes from the federal, that is why the Supreme Court now embarked on what I refer to as judicial activism by giving life to the letters and spirit of the Constitution, in which case the Supreme Court now made an order directing that funds from the Federation account should be remitted directly to the various local government councils. But we should appreciate something. The local government councils are also empowered to embark on internally generated revenue, in which case, despite the Supreme Court judgment, the Supreme Court judgment has not made any pronouncement as to how funds generated by the local government councils will be utilized, because that's purely the business of the state. In other words, it is the money that comes from the Federation account that the Supreme Court made pronouncement on, because the court cannot grant you what you do not demand for. The federal government, through the Attorney General of the Federation, initiated this particular suit. And there's no way the AG Federation will have initiated an action pertaining to what transpired, pertaining to what is within the confines of the powers of a state. In other words, internally generated revenue of a local government ordinarily is not the business of the federal government. So that's why this judgment is restricted to the funds. But I believe that the chunk of the funds that accrue to the local government do come from the federal. And most importantly is this: the possibility of giving life to this law will be dependent on the body language of the president of Nigeria. Let me explain. Interestingly, local government chairmen and councillors, they do not enjoy constitutional immunity, because it is one thing to make a pronouncement on an issue, it is another to carry it into force. Some weeks back, I heard the Attorney General of the Federation, make a comment that these local government chairmen, that they do not enjoy constitutional immunity, and I said exactly. In which case, if the federal government actually wants to give life to this provision, it also behoves the citizens to also be alive to their responsibilities, because in Igbo parlance, in our local parlance, we say that the federal government will not, through the Age Federation, give you that enabling environment to enjoy the resources that accrue to local government, and also expect and also embark on the duty of giving life to that judgment. What am I trying to say? It is now left for the citizens to now start asking questions, to now activate the instrumentality of various laws, to see to it that the various local government chairmen, once these funds are remitted, that they utilize these funds for the development of their terrains. In which case, for instance, if 1 naira is sent to the coffers of a local government chairman, or let's say 10 naira in a given month, and when we now juxtapose that amount of money with the salaries paid vis-a-vis the projects executed, and we cannot, come to terms, or we find it difficult in, marrying together the amount remitted to the local government council and the project executed, automatically the citizens will now be compelled to ask questions. Mr. Chairman, you are giving 10 naira, but from the projects on ground, from what you have executed so far, we cannot, and from vis-a-vis salaries you have paid, we cannot fathom how you spend that 10 naira. If he's unable to account for it, automatically EFCC will be called to work. EFCC and ICPC. So, and these two agencies are agents of the federal government. So, the ability, or better still, the possibility of these judgments being given life is dependent on the willingness of the president, and the president has the political wherewithal to carry these judgments into force by giving it life.
That's the way. You want to say something, Dr. Owo?
Yeah, I wanted to add to what he had just said, because actually, if you read the judgment very well, you see that the judgment went ahead to say that, the federal government went ahead to say that a commission will be developed that will checkmate the activity of the local governments, a commission. And that commission will make sure that each local government cannot withdraw from the federal account more than 500,000 naira a day, no matter whatever. And if he has a contract, if there is a contract that is going on, maybe road work or whatever, that one has to pass through the commission before you can pay more than 500,000 naira a day, or you'll be paying it intermittently in order to run down the whatever amount you have in that contract. So that's also a good development, because when you cannot, some of them, the way they siphon money for other things and use it for other things that is not part of the activity that is made for them, you see that they do those things, even transfer money into another account. There's no way the Supreme Court judgment has taken care of all these things, and the federal government has taken a step by showing that they want to enforce the law, to later. They will do it.
All right. Barrister Owe, let's look at the realities on the ground. First off is the Institute, States Independent Electoral Commissions. You see the way the appointments of persons who run states independent electoral commissions are made. The appointments come from the state governors. A lot of persons are called for the scrapping of the state electoral commissions, asking that INEC also conducts grassroots elections. Do you think that this institution will mar the absolute autonomy of local government?
Anyway, the point there is that in the first instance, ideally, we wouldn't have had challenges with the manner in which state independent electoral commissions are constituted. Because in as much as the governor has the powers to appoint, the same way the president has the powers to appoint the chairman of INEC, that appointment is made as well of the chairman of a state electoral commission is made subject to ratification by the House of Assembly. So the constitution theoretically thought that at least the members of a given House of Assembly of a state will be alive to their responsibilities. But unfortunately, that seems not to be the case. Now, having said that, I think elections that will be conducted henceforth, or better still, local government leaders who will be enthroned henceforth, their activities vis-a-vis these judgments will now give a litmus test as to what we are going to experience going forward as far as governance is concerned in Nigeria, the local government tier of government. I think before now, I've been one of the persons advocating, better still, canvassing this argument that in as much as INEC as an electoral umpire may not have lived up to expectation that if INEC should conduct local government elections, then to a great extent we have something that's reasonably okay, or better still manageable. Because what you normally witness virtually across board, save for few instances like what happened under the watch of former governor of Kaduna State. I'll keep using this example because no matter how bad or better, no matter some baggages he may have as a person, we have to appreciate the fact that former Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State, at least as a governor, conducted what would be regarded as a transparent local government election, and under his watch, we have the opposition People's Democratic Party in Kaduna State winning some chairmanship positions. That is not usually the case across board in Nigeria. What you normally witness is a situation whereby the ruling party in the state we sweep. I don't know, my colleague in the office, your guy, no, your party, your broom, they now use broom to sweep everything. Now, what am I trying to say? What will happen henceforth is this. There may not be need to bring INEC into the picture again. Why? And this, I'm giving this free information. If you are an incoming local government chairman or councillor, if your interest is to go and make money, you are in trouble, except the president does not want to enforce this judgment.
Yes.
Because automatically, you will be forced into a dilemma. If you find yourself in a state whereby the governor loves meddling unlawfully with the funds of the local government, you will be in trouble. Because if you want to collect the funds through surrogates, because you may award contracts, going by the contract, you may award contract, paying money. If you want to collect that money through the back door, maybe by having shabbily executed contracts put in place, you will still be you will still find yourself in trouble, because you will be called upon to account for the funds.
Yeah, sure.
You know, you will be called upon to explain why the money you claim was mapped out for a particular project seems not to be commiserate with what is on ground. What am I trying to say? Automatically, once we now have in place a situation whereby local government leaders cannot, meddle unlawfully with public funds, what will now happen is that the level of desperation we witness during local government, especially among ruling parties, will now dwindle to a great extent. In which case, you now find men and women who actually had interest in serving coming forward. Yes. Because the situation whereby, for instance, you're a businessman and you make up to, let's say, 5 million naira in a month as your personal money, and you believe that if you become a local government chairman, you go home with 100 billion naira or 200 billion naira in a month, and you now find yourself in a situation whereby if you become a local government chairman, you may end up going home with, let's say, 2 or 3 million naira in a month. You will now say there's no need. Let us now leave this thing for those who actually want to serve. Let me concentrate in my business. Because automatically, if you're a political office holder, automatically you attract many financial responsibilities on your head. For instance, if you're a commissioner or if you're a local government chairman, you become an automatic member of burial committee of everybody who dies in your community. If you're a church goer, automatically you're a big brother or big sister in your church. All the donations, so by the time you're unable to meet up with the financial expectations of the society on you, vis-a-vis, because and this is why they normally steal, because we should appreciate this issue from a dispassionate perspective. When we accuse political office holders of meddling unlawfully with public funds, we should also appreciate the fact that some of us are also complicit. We push them into doing that at times, because there's this belief in Nigeria that once you're a political office holder, you're a member of the House of Assembly, that automatically you're a millionaire. And in which case people will be expecting you to do or whatnot, and for you to meet up, you now have to go beyond your means, your financial entitlement, which automatically will lead you into indulging in corrupt practices. What am I trying to say? Once people now discover that look, it's no longer business as usual, that the federal government has put in place mechanisms this decision that will now make it difficult for us to steal money. You will now have, because there are those who actually want to go into governance because they want to leave behind a wonderful legacy.
Yes.
They want to serve. These are the ones that are now, even in ruling parties, they will now start coming forward. So that desperation will be reduced. In which case, to a great extent, the election will now start becoming free and fair. Even when the governors now discover that they no longer have much control over the finances. Once the governor sees that doesn't have much control, that he now gets only 10% or whatever, in reality. So it is still subject to the willingness or the determination of the president of Nigeria to carry into force this judgment. Once the president does that, believe you me, elections will now to a great extent start being, just like what happened in churches. People look for political offices in secular politics. You want to be the SSG to the state government. But when you are appointed a secretary to your church, you will not take it. Why? Because you will not be paid. That is the reality. That's the reality. Then you see people those who love power, where you are not given a free position. Because there's no money there, you say, nah, don't disturb me. So time shall come when people will start saying, don't disturb me, we don't have money, you don't let me go and face my business. In fact, and they cancel, I'm going home with only 100,000 naira in a month, and they are calling me honorable. Honorable, I'm not driving any car. If you want to drive car, go and look for job, go and do your business and get. So governance should not be a business adventure. Governance should not be an avenue where people amass wealth. It's an avenue for people to serve. If you want to be rich, go and invest in business, go and make money.
Okay, let's allow our listener to join the conversation on local government autonomy, looking at the realities and the viability. The numbers to call if you care to join us are 0907-275-9950, 0907-275-9950, or you call us on 0706-815-8029, 0706-815-8029. Good morning. Thanks for joining us, sir. You're welcome, John.
Looking at the economy on the topic, to look at it, something that has been done by the Supreme Court. But there is a terrible thing. And what has done in Lagos State in 2029, we agree with him that this is what my people call Noya Lelon Kita will go there. You see, but Tinubu has as many states as possible. In many states and government, what are going to do something that the government are doing. So I'm saying that unless as our institutions begin to work, like the EFCC and ICPC, like Barry Tobey has said, until where we are, we're still going to have the local government funds being manipulated. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, John. Thanks for joining us. Still keep the calls coming on 0907-275-9950 or 0706-815-8029. What are your thoughts on local government autonomy? Absolute or not? Dr. Walter, the local government administration handles salaries of local government workers and primary school teachers. Is that so or not? How will that pan out now? We have had in the past, especially during the military regime, if my guess is correct, where it was so difficult to pay primary school teachers' salaries, and we encountered strikes, counter strikes, strikes upon strikes those days. It is still their task to handle primary school teachers' salaries. And if this financial autonomy is anything to go by, do you think the funds coming from FAC will handle that? I am talking about this way because we know that not all the local government, apart from the likes of Barrister, waste local government that is situated in the metropolis, most are in the rural areas. And looking at fund generation, internal revenue generation, do you think that local government will cope with salary payment? One. We have other things they should do, but let's look at paying salaries.
Yeah, I believe they could handle it if the federal allocation comes direct to them. Reason is that the state government that has been funding them for teacher salary is still from the same money coming from the farms, because they ask them to prepare your primary school teacher salary. They'll prepare them, prepare your own staff salary, they prepare them, they send it to state, and state will now fund them to pay that. But if they have direct allocation from far, and coupled with their internal generated revenue, they can well pay it. And with all the lay down rules that is on the ground following the autonomy, I think if they don't do it, they will be held responsible, and they cannot. There's no way they can run out of it, because the people knows that the power to pay them their salary is vested on the chairman and the local government authority, and the local people around also know the same thing, and they cannot afford to begin to embezzle this money. Of course, there is no room. There is no room because of the lay down procedures and policies that has been made through this thing. So I believe they can well pay the salaries.
If
They can well pay,
have
and
the
this
will
has to
power.
determine who is who in the local government administration.
Okay.
All right. So I wanted to add to that. Yeah, the state owns a whole lot when it comes to they take the entire percentage when there is this internally generated revenue. Yeah, but then they owe a certain percentage to the local government. Do you think that with the autonomy that the state would be paying that percentage to the local governments to also assist them in meeting up?
Of course, it depends on what they are collecting from the direct allocation. And before now, they were only managing their internal generated revenue, which maybe is nothing to write home about. And some of the internal generated revenue, they pay direct to the states. They return to the states. So I believe the little percentage that the states use to augment their distance has been taken care of by the federal allocation. Direct allocation will consider the heavy amount of loads they have, and they give them enough, plus their internal generated revenue, they will be able to pay their salaries without siege.
Okay, Barrister CDO, we are still in the utilization of funds for local government. You see, for instance, in Enugu State, the state government has embarked on several projects, infrastructure projects. We see the smart schools springing up in some wards of Enugu State. I don't know if it's happening around the wards you know. And we also see the type 2 hospital health centers springing up. We know about some road projects. If this administration has not embarked on any rural road project, the recent past or other past governors would have. So you see that the state governments have their projects carried out in rural areas as well. So with this financial autonomy, what will the local government projects look like, in your own opinion?
Yes, state governments, going by the provisions of the law, are expected to embark on the development of the rural areas while working in conjunction with the local government leaders. In other words, the development is expected to go on concurrently. That we have local government system of government in place does not stop a state governor from executing projects. You are not the governor of the capital of your state, you are the governor of your state. Your project should be all encompassing. While the local government will also concentrate on the areas which they are empowered by law to attend to, like roads in rural communities, pipe-borne water, even ensuring that slaughterhouses are in good state. Because if you take a look at some of these things we consume, they are in a very bad state, and that's why some of us suffer from various ailments without even knowing that these ailments emanate from the poorly handled food items we consume. You know, and again, let me say something, and I say this with the highest level of highest sense of responsibility, that most of our local government leaders in time past, with due respect, they are intellectually lazy. Let me repeat, they are intellectually lazy. Let me explain. You talked about maybe having local government councils that are viable, financially viable. Local governments that are situated within, you know, urban areas. Good and fine. Do you know that if we have local government leaders who actually are leaders because of the fact that they want to deliver the goods governance-wise, they have ample opportunities to delve into other areas, other facets of endeavor that will help them generate funds. For instance, there is hunger in the land now. Those local government leaders who are in rural areas can go into farming. In the days of yore, or before 1999, we used to have tractors in various local governments. Where are these tractors? So this is time for tractors to be purchased by local government leaders, chairmen. So if you receive revenue from FAC and you are not a local government chairman of a local government in an urban area, go and acquire tractors. There is hunger. And back on mechanized agriculture, boys are hungry. There's unemployment. Employ boys in rural communities. All these farmlands that are being occupied by some people who are causing trouble, use your tractor, enter these farmlands. Let there be massive agriculture. The way Saddam Hussein did it when he was in Iraq. From there, you now embark on what you call comparative advantage. Those in urban areas, you putting on tie, wearing suits. Those in rural areas, you producing food. You produce your food, bring it to urban areas, sell your foods to them. Then we purchase. You make your own money. Again, sports. I will not. What am I trying to say? Is because that many people who aspire to acquire political offices, they actually do that not because they actually want to serve. They see it as an avenue to amass wealth. So that's the type of, we practice what we call feeding bottle federalism. And it trickles down from the federal down to the state. Many state governors can't even think outside the box. They wait for that federal allocation. And I understand them. This is like a man whose father is rich. That's why at times in local parlance, it's called the children of the poor tend to struggle harder than the children of the rich.
Yeah, come out better.
When I was in school, I wouldn't want to mention the name of the school. Their school is even within this environment. In my secondary school days, we discovered that those of us who are not from background that from stupendously rich background, we are more serious-minded with our studies. Because I attended the school of rich men in those days. So if I have many high-ranking figures in this country that they attended that school, so how will you, as son of a poor man, be behaving like the son of a rich man? A rich man's son will not be going to school very well, will not be studying hard, and you behave. No, now what am I trying to say? If you have a situation whereby people actually don't rely on this Abuja allocation, and they actually want to govern, we have the way God has blessed this nation that we have many things in place that will help us generate revenue. Look at what happened in Enugu some weeks back. The match between Enyimba and Rangers. We now had a situation whereby the people that came out to watch that match, it was akin to what happens in Europe. What am I trying to say? If the right measures are put in place, we can even generate serious revenue from sports. Local government chairmen can, it mustn't be football. We have cricket, we have basketball. There are many things they can do. Many things they can do. I've given agriculture as there is hunger in the land. I go there. So those who are in rural communities, they should go and face farming. They should go and purchase tractors because people will patronize them very well. So that is it. So this is time for them to embrace serious business. I just hope and pray that these judgments will be given life so that we will now become serious-minded. So that those who actually want to govern will be the ones aspiring to acquire political power at the local government tier of government.
All right, Dr. Walter, there is also another thing I want you to point out. I know that local governments can get, most local governments actually can get developed by attracting investments, by attracting some form of, for instance, if you're able to convince your state governor to build some form of college in your environment, or you develop it to the point that another person from another state decides to do something there, that's another way. All right, so
what with your questions?
All right,
I've got
a call.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us, sir. We're good. You're welcome, Reverend sir.
What you people are saying is very, very important. And thank God for the resource person here, like the barrister. I wouldn't leave us in nobody saying that. We know that time 80s, local government is doing a lot of work. They embark on agriculture. I remember that time, the local government where my father, late father served, they grew corns, pineapples. You see people coming by, and there was a development. Like in our local government where the father is serving as a pastor. Go to their room and that agriculture to the local government. You know it's very, very bad. He don't make the local government chairman because his hands are tied. Government is giving them to what they want to do. So I'm of opinion, if local government autonomy is granted, it will bring a lot of development in Nigeria, especially in grassroots government. They should know that we have 3 tiers of government, federal, state, and local government, so that the rural people will think development. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Sam. Good morning. Okay, we're still entertaining calls on the program. Register your calls and your opinion. Bring in your comments by calling 0907 275 9950 or 0706 815 8029. Local government autonomy in focus. And presently we are still talking about the realities. Sean, I hope that's where your question is.
Yes. So I was talking about the various kinds of investments that they can attract, right? So what kind of investments, apart from the university or a college, can the local government chairman delve into to be able to develop the place? Because I remember a few years ago when I was in Abua and in Esut, the place has gone from what it was then to what it is now, all because of one school, just one university. So I'd like you to speak on that too.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, there are too many ways that local governments can attract investments. For instance, that of the universities, I don't think it's what they can handle within the mega fund they have. But it is only the state government that can do that. But they can speak and say what they want by using their rep within their locality, bringing them together in a round table, telling them what they look forward to in their local government, so that they can now pursue it through the House of Assembly and making sure that they attract such thing down to the rural place. Again, there is a lot of areas. I also talk about entrepreneurship. There are those who may not be interested in farming, in mechanized farming, and those youth who may not want to go there. They can now develop a kind of entrepreneurship skill to the youths within their community, which can attract, investments and funds. Because entrepreneurship, like we talk, is part of the thing that help to build the GDP. When they go in and begin to, because within your locality, there is this association we have sometime we call Vocational Entrepreneurship Development Association. We are trying to spread it through the rural areas, and then to bring in young ones and even the farmers look within their their community and see around their compound the little thing they can begin to develop that will also generate fund. It is possible, very common. But the important thing is, just like the barrister said, some of the people who come to vie for local government chairmanship are not there to govern, but they are there to find, to enrich their purse, to enrich themselves. So ordinarily, they will not be looking forward to how to develop. People who have that skill, who want to come into power because they want to serve, they will actually come there and begin to look inwards and see the things they need to do to bring out something. For instance, somebody may put in an office, he say this office is nothing is coming out there. Another person will put inside into the same office. He will begin to generate a lot of things by his thinking, inside the box. and then seeing what is important to do. So I believe entrepreneurship is another thing they have to engage into, or building some model schools. Although school has government, state government has taken care of that by building all these smart schools and all that around the community. So the local government may not have need to do that again, but they can attract some of the, like these cottage hospitals. If they develop good cottage hospitals in their communities will not have need again to go to urban areas to seek for health care. They will do it within the community, and those things generate equally fund. That fund that will be taken to the urban area to go and seek for health care will be spent in the same community. In fact, there is a lot of things. There is a lot of things they can do, especially this area of training the youths. There are some part of the youth that may want to go into agriculture. They are best in that area. There are some who want to go into entrepreneurship in diverse areas. They will be making it, and you see that the rural areas will also be attractive to people who are in urban area, because when you see people in the rural area, they are making it even more than you who are hovering around in the town, believing that you are living in the city and we are not getting anything. Just like some of our people who are migrating to Asian countries, Europe, Americas, and some of them are dying in hunger. I saw one displayed in the various in the social media the other day. They say he's dying. If you look at him, very ugly, and he said he came out of prisons and all that. He cannot find food to eat. When they give him food, you say, why not come back here? There are a lot of things you can do in Nigeria here, and you'll be comfortable. You will be eating and you'll be living. And you also be amassing wealth.
Okay, if you think, really. Okay, Barrister, well, let's come to you about absolute autonomy. With this Supreme Court judgment making it possible for financial autonomy for local government chairmen, do you foresee absolute autonomy?
In reality, nothing is absolute. But what we'll be looking at is a reasonable autonomy. Because in as much as if this judgment is given life, in as much as to a great extent, those who don't have interest in governance, in true sense of it, will be dissuaded from aspiring to occupy political offices into the state of government. Yet, many governors will still, for the purpose of massaging their egos, still want to determine who becomes a local government chairman because of political structure. So apart from the financial implications, the adverse financial implications they may have on the purse of state governors, yet they will still like to determine who becomes local government chairman, so that it will give them this sense of being in control. Because some governors will feel that even though it's an anomaly, I'm not encouraging it, but I'm being realistic. Some governors may be deemed to be weak if the members of the opposition take hold of this tier of government under their watch. So these are the realities of the moment. So financial autonomy will never guarantee absolute autonomy.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing is that it may create room for at least some level of sanity in the system. And also, let me also add that there are things a private individual may have difficulty in doing. Yet, those who are in corridors of power will not have challenge. Just imagine the state government authoring a letter. That letter will be given serious attention by both international members of the international community and other sister agencies. It's difficult for a government to borrow money as opposed to a private individual. What am I trying to say? The law has also empowered the local government leaders to even incorporate companies and run businesses. In other words, these local governments in rural areas, nothing stops them, for instance, from having their own transport company. And in having it, your transport company must not run in your local government. You can come to Enugu Urban. You can have an INRI mass transit, package it very well. They're doing business here, making money for the local government. And mind you, as a local government, for instance, it will be easier for you. For instance, if you don't have the financial wherewithal, you can reach out to a bank, a financial institution, enter into a formal arrangement that, look, we are going to finance this project. In fact, even be in charge, but we'll give you that enabling environment. In which case, at the end of every month, you remit some percentage to us, while the bank will now, we now fund that loan from the money coming from this business. At the end of the day, we will now go with some assets. A private individual may have difficulty in doing that. But as a government establishment, once the papers are in place, you sign everything, it's easier for you to do it. So the problem is that many people who aspire into these political offices, they don't do that because they want to govern and leave behind a wonderful legacy. It is being seen as a poverty alleviation avenue, in which case, once you met a councillor, your people will start telling you God has finally answered your prayers,
Yeah.
that it's now your turn to shine, and that you should not mismanage this once in a lifetime opportunity. That is the problem.
All right, as we are concluding, Barrister, we're still with you. Enugu State government is getting prepared to have a local government election come October 5th if nothing changes. What's the body language out there? How prepared are we for this local government election? Do you foresee business as usual or business unusual?
Anyway, this will be the first local government under the watch of Governor Peter Mbah. So if you ask me, just the same way I've encouraged some persons who approach me to ask questions in that regard, I will encourage, or better say, persuade people to participate in the election. Let's see what happens. Let's give that benefit of doubt. In all sincerity, if you ask me, there may not be much difference. Nevertheless, this is he used to be a member of the opposition fold. He once ran for election under Abga. So let us see what happens. So let us not say that it has always been the same pattern. Maybe let's hope that he may behave like El Rufai when El Rufai was governor, as far as the government is concerned. If come October, if it's business as usual, I will not say okay, it is business as usual. Maybe the next one say no need, just go and do it the way. People should go and sweep everything, because they normally sweep election results in a local government election. So let's see what happens come October.
All right.
Let's give you that benefit of that. That's what I will say.
All right. My last question to you is the local governments. Where does the illustrious son and daughters come in? Because the thing about being illustrious is being able to make an impact where you come from. So it feels like there are a lot of people who are living large, but then in the village nobody really sees them like that. Is there something you have to say to people like that? People who are really doing well, who can actually liaise with the local government chairman to make the society better, the local governments better?
Yeah. The thing is that it depends on the local government chairman. You see, some of them are there not actually being illustrious, but it has to be that every local government chairman has to live within his local government area. There is time government made such law that no local government chairman should live outside his local government. But you see that most of them are living outside there. Most of them are living in Enugu here, while leaving their local government behind them. And they travel from here to go and govern their local government. In other words, they don't know what is happening locally. They don't see the need of the people. They don't see what they need to do to empower people and to bring people to the level of that government so that everybody will enjoy and be part of it.
In 30 seconds, Dr. Walter, what are your thoughts on this local government election in Enugu State?
Well, my thought is as good as let it be in a free and fair election so that every political party will participate and produce councillors and local government chairmen so that it will be a balanced argument in the House.
All right, Dr. Walter Ounchasin, Assistant State Secretary, APC Enugu State. Thanks for being with us on Matters of the Moment today. We also had Barrister Daniel Chunos Uwe, a legal practitioner and a politician in the House. Thanks, Barrister Uwe.
I appreciate it.
My name is Ngozika Mba, inviting you to join us at 10 o'clock for another conversation around local government issues. This time around, the impact of democracy, of grassroots government in democracy. See you at 10.
My name is Chioma Agolana. Don't go anywhere.
At 9 o'clock, you will be with Tochukwu Ugu on Sunrise Sports today. Good morning, Cold City.